If you were willing to accept Anthony Joshua versus Wladimir Klitschko rematch, then you should be able and willing to accept Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz rematch. Stay tuned, coming up next.
Hey, this is Cassie, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.
Shout outs to Blue Blood Sports TV.
You're watching Blue Blood Sports TV. Hola, habla Cindy, está viendo Deportes TV.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, I'm seeing a lot of criticism. I'm seeing a lot of people campaigning against the fact that Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder, announced the fact that he will be rematching Luis King Kong Ortiz in September. And I'm seeing a lot of people campaigning against it. Mainly those being Anthony Joshua fans, Anthony Joshua himself, and Eddie Hearn, his promoter, Anthony Joshua's promoter, Matchroom CEO promoter, right? And I'm seeing a lot of people campaigning against it. But here's the thing. If you weren't campaigning against Wladimir Klitschko versus Anthony Joshua too, then why are you campaigning against Deontay Wilder versus Luis King Kong Ortiz? And here's why. Wladimir Klitschko, we know, was 40 plus years of age. There's no proof that Luis King Kong Ortiz is 40 plus years of age. There's a lot of speculation that he's 40 plus years of age, but there's no actual proof. There's actual proof that Anthony Joshua, a future opponent at the time in a rematch, Wladimir Klitschko, is 40 plus years of age. And there was no outrage. There was no outpour. There were no outcries, right? We know that Wladimir Klitschko was coming off 18-month layoff, coming off a loss, right, in the first fight, and gave Anthony Joshua the fight of his life. Anthony Joshua was in a life-or-death fight with Wladimir Klitschko, a guy that was coming off a loss, was 40 plus years of age, right, and gave Anthony Joshua his claim to fame. And then Anthony Joshua stood to go into a rematch with this very same Wladimir Klitschko, who was already 41 plus years of age, right? So he was on his way to being 42 years old, 43 years old. We know this for a fact. Now, there's no proof. There's a lot of speculation that Ortiz is 40 plus years of age, right? That's mainly to discredit Deontay Wilder and his accomplishments for beating Luis Ortiz, but nobody else really wants to step in the ring with Luis Ortiz, right? And I know people are going to say, well, Wladimir Klitschko was a champion. Well, we saw Wladimir Klitschko get knocked out twice. We saw him have multiple losses by the time he even got to Anthony Joshua the first time. Luis King Kong Ortiz was undefeated. His only loss on his record to date, YTD, is Deontay Wilder, right? And I know people are going to state that, well, Wladimir Klitschko, you know, he was a Hall of Famer. Well, we saw Wladimir Klitschko lose to lesser opponents. And the fact that the fight didn't push through wasn't up to Anthony Joshua. It wasn't up to Eddie Hearn. It wasn't up to the fans that were campaigning against it. It was Wladimir Klitschko himself that felt like he didn't have what it takes to be successful anymore. He felt like he didn't have what it takes to be competitive with Anthony Joshua, with the younger version of these up-and-coming heavyweights. He felt like his time was up. But they already started the campaign. They already started the schedule, the press conference. Anthony Joshua was here in the States. The fight was supposed to be in Las Vegas. And nobody was campaigning against it. Everybody was actually cheering for it because it was a hell of a fight that saw Wladimir Klitschko get knocked out. And so I see people saying that, well, Deontay Wilder, there's no need for him to fight Ortiz again because he knocked Ortiz out already. Well, Anthony Joshua had previously knocked out Wladimir Klitschko already. So where's the outcry? They both was hell of a fights. They both were Fight of the Year campaign type of fights, right? We saw Wladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua both hit the deck. We didn't see Deontay Wilder hit the deck, but we saw Ortiz hit the deck multiple times, and we saw Deontay Wilder hurt in the 7th round, where people felt like the referee played a major part in the reason why the fight didn't get stopped and Deontay Wilder have his first loss on his resume. So why are people campaigning? If you were up for a rematch for Anthony Joshua and Deontay and Wladimir Klitschko, then you should be on the same accord with Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz, because there's no difference. Or what are you going to say? Because it was immediate? Well, guess what? Anthony Joshua already previously have a fight that he hasn't even gotten past yet. He still has Andy Ruiz coming up. Hasn't even stepped in the ring with him. Don't know the outcome of that fight. Right? Deontay Wilder went on a campaign trying to face Anthony Joshua for quite some time, and Anthony Joshua admitted that, he wasn't ready. So that fight didn't push through. So now Deontay Wilder, when Anthony Joshua says jump, you say he's supposed to say how high. No, it doesn't work that way, right? And so now people want to campaign against Luis Ortiz versus Deontay Wilder, but I see none of these people were doing that when Anthony Joshua versus Wladimir Klitschko 2 was announced, and they were getting ready to start their tour, their press tour, and announce the fight and so on and so forth. Anthony Joshua was here at Floyd Mayweather's gym getting ready to promote the fight, getting ready to promote the rematch before Wladimir Klitschko pulled out of the fight and said that he just didn't have it anymore. He didn't have the hunger. He didn't have the drive. He didn't feel like he could be successful. And so with that said, nobody was campaigning against it. I see people saying, well, why is Deontay Wilder fighting him again when he already knocked him out? Well, why would Anthony Joshua be fighting Wladimir Klitschko again when he already had previously knocked him out? Now, I know people are going to say, well, it was in the contract. Well, Wladimir Klitschko wasn't a champion. He wasn't a champion when that fight took place. Tyson Fury had already stripped him of those titles. So why would it be in the contract when he's 40 plus years of age and he was not a champion and he was coming off a loss and an 18-month layoff? We know why, right? But that's all I got for y'all, man. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hey, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
The Blue Blood Sport TV, baby, from the